The stabilizer doesn't look straight, but whatever. I'm up and it's 1:40. I literally didn't sleep at all, like not even a wink. You know what? I didn't sleep until 7. And before it became 7, like yesterday at like 8 or 9, I'm like, I'm gonna wake up at 4 and just leave out. Because last year, that was what I was doing. I was like leaving out early in the morning because I had a job in Philly. I had a job that had nothing to do with me or my skill set. I had to just get there, and it was a job to get there. And I've done that so much in my life. I've just survived. So I know how to do that. Like it's a skill. Like if teaching people how to just get by was a thing. Like maybe that'll be my new hustle, to teach people how do you live, because I've always figured out how to do it. When it comes to me trying to live abundantly, I really feel like I can consume all of that information and all those ideologies because I believe in them, but I have I just don't have it like to. So basically, like living out of survival is just what I've been taught. Like you go to work, you come home, whatever, right? That's your day. I don't mind that being my day. What happens is I get stuck in that cycle until my computer shut down. My computer could run for a long time without me putting myself first, because I've just done that for majority of my life. My computer could run and run and run and run and run until I just start going through like, you're unhappy, you got to make a change, you got to do something. On the surface of it, a change could be finding a new job. When all actuality, a change is like changing my life. And for me to even get to where I am now, I have to do very drastic things. Like I had to stop working completely to finish my undergrad, because that is what I was juggling. I was juggling working full time, having to work full time and like pay bills while trying to go to school. So it was never realistic. I was always like, all right, well, I'm just going to work. Mainly because I was hungry or homeless. Like it was never like to do something grand. I just been trying to survive. So I found a school in New York because I know I want to live there. I think the colleges there will fuel the economy there. This is just how I'm thinking. So when I get to New York, I didn't work. I remember getting down, like going through my savings, my lease being up, and like, okay, like what do I have to do? Because I was in college at the time, I was able to like sleep in like classrooms or whatever. That's not a security blanket for me now. So it's like I basically ignore my responsibilities. That's what I'm doing now. Because if I was like in full throttle, like, you got to do this, I would have more of a breaking down that I'm having right now, because that's what I'm actually going through. So, fast forward time. I know how to survive. I know how to survive routinely. I know how to do it because I just come from a working class family. Like, I know how to go to work. I don't really live. So, at this point in my life, it's not so much of a conviction. The hell is wrong with me? Usually when I get confidence, it's like, oh, this is new. What does it feel like to speak up? And it's like this new space that I'm exploring. It's not a conviction. I know myself. I know I'm an artist. I just know that I don't have financial stability in my life to take that into artistic life. It's like fucking my head up. I literally went to studios on Sunday, or that was the plan for Saturday, but I ended up going on Sunday. When I went to the studios on Sunday, the administrator walking me through and giving me the tour, but she's basically telling me like how much everything costs, because that's what it is when you when you're going to be an artist, like you gotta pay for it. So she letting me know how much everything costs, and that alone, in my head, I'm like, all right, what I'm gonna do, because I'm already at this place at my employer where it's like it's more than time for me to go. Like, being a smart for me, I will say, me working like side jobs, the whole plan with that, with my previous survival thinking, was like, you really an artist, like just go get bread on the side. It's not really good for me to not be esteemed to be who I am. It's not good for me to be a laborer. It's not for my body. it's not good for my body. I have such a pain right now in my knees, and the knee pain is starting from my foot, which I'm standing like 8 or 10 hours. Like, it's not really worth it. And bigger than the jobs not being worth it, it's like, it's just not worth it. I'll just say that. Like, as far as like my skill set, I know that I can do more. New York is like not an environment to try to figure out how to do more. Like, if you don't know somebody in a particular position, it's like, what are you going to do with that? And I also think, oh, my ring light, camera cut off when the shit almost fell. But New York is like, to me, not a place to have a job that you don't care about, because it's an economy here for different industries. So if you want to be an artist, you just have to go forth and do it. So it's like, me telling myself that, but also me having a survival mindset is like, well, what am I going to do? So I'm so split. I literally will leave the house with a bag full of all of my creative shit, and I'm still like trying to go to interviews at cocktail servers when I know I have no interest in being a cocktail server. I know it doesn't really make me a lot of money in the lane that I'm cocktail serving, because I'm doing it in corporate, European-owned establishments, white-owned establishments, and they have a ownership over the income, meaning that somebody's getting my tips before me. In a total of like 6 months, I probably have one good night of leaving with $150. One good night out of like 6 months. And I had that good night because I was working so hard that 2 to 3 people gave me like big tips. That I don't have a consistent amount of people at my job to consistently like leave with like $150, because I would be okay with that. So right now in my life, I know I have to leave that job. When I came back from my trip to LA, it was like, leave that job, because I cannot pretend to be small, like, or pretend to be inferior, especially in a space that does not exude intellectual capacity. Like, if you're actually smarter than me, then be smarter than me and run a business. But if I'm actually a hard worker, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything when somebody's asking you to play to their ego instead of playing to the job. So I say all that to say, even before I went to the trip, I was like chilling with my friend Emily. She's like my best friend. Like, she's so smart. I'm just like, I could talk to her and really learn, which is my favorite thing about relationships that I have. Like, can I learn from this person? I learned so much from her. And she was saying, I have to do like a vlog with her so you can meet her, but she was saying how she knows she's a diversity hire, and she doesn't play to that. Like, she doesn't like work harder. Like, she comes, she do what she's supposed to do, and like, that's it. And I have a complete separate ideology. I know that because I'm Black, I'm working harder than everybody, and I just don't get respected for it. So I'm kind of at the point in my life where I'm like, I'm just now stepping out of my people-pleasing era, and it's just like, I don't want to be anywhere, especially a job, where somebody is asking me to be a people-pleaser. So the politics and the games at play at jobs that are like labor-based, like a lot of my coworkers, they play the game of labor. So they want you to out-labor them. And it's like, what? You really think I'm gonna like lift a glass competitively in a different way? And it's like something that I could ignore. But in actuality, the shit is like not for me. And I want to be so aware that when I'm in a space that's not for me, that I listen to myself. That's what I was telling one of my coworkers recently. Like, I want to honor that voice inside myself that's like, no, I don't want to keep showing up. But all I know how to do is to show up. I've never really been in a space where I've chosen myself. I always choose, or I always pick, like, oh, I gotta take care of myself. Like, that's the bigger thing for me. Like, oh, I gotta go to work because I gotta do. I never like follow through with the risk. And like, everything is risky right now because I have debt, and it's manageable debt. It's the type of debt that I could take each paycheck and like eliminate it. But it's also like easy for me to stay in that space because like, oh, I actually need the money for other things. So I haven't really grown fully to maturity with managing money, which is the bigger thing I'm unpacking, like I'm taking these poor skills into another career endeavor. And I've been on the tailspin of this for years. I always feel like, oh, I'm gonna be an artist, I'm gonna be a full-time artist, and I get the opportunity, but I learn in a hindsight kind of fashion. So the way that I learn, when I say in hindsight kind of fashion, like I learn how to handle a situation after it's over. When I'm actually in it, I'm not fully present. Last March, I think it was last March, I was in an opera. Amazing experience to wake up and be surrounded by full-time artists. Amazing experience to see a Black girl starring, and it was like those type of things that I experienced artistically like fuel me so much. It just was amazing. Amazing for me, right? While I was in that experience, in hindsight of that experience, I realized how much networking you have to do when you're in those spaces, because they lead to like other opportunities. The most I was doing when I worked in the opera was getting up and going. Like that was the thing. I wasn't really showing up early. I wasn't like socializing, and to my detriment, I'm really noticing that now, especially when it's like being an artist, so much of it looks like a social experiment. It looks like you have to go to these parties, you have to go to these events, and it's just like, these are all ruminating thoughts that I have. Like, what did I do in my corporate career that I don't want to take it to being an artist? I don't want to divide myself in that way. I've just been surviving. So I've never felt the need to have camaraderie with people at work. I more so feel like this is my rent, these are my bills. I'm not going to ruin that for myself. I'm not going to mix business and pleasure. Let me just go to work. And in those spaces, I never learned about the new position that popped up. I never heard about the corporate opportunity. I never heard about the merger or acquisition in advance, because I was never actually socializing with anybody at the companies that I work with. So I'm telling myself now, girl, pay attention, because this whole experience, you will have to pay your way. Like right now, I have a lawyer bill. I just did a debt snowball and I forgot that. I owe a lawyer $337.50. I had a meeting with her so she could tell me what I already knew. And she was explaining to me, this is what I charge. And I was like, I have to talk to her. Whole time I didn't have to talk to her. But I don't, and I hope all of this sounds clear. I do certain things because I feel like I need permission to do them. And it's like, you don't need permission to do anything. Like if something is in you, go for it, full throttle, push forth, do your thing. You don't need permission for somebody to tell you. But I've lived my life in such an obedient, people-pleasing way. It's like, I don't really know how to just be happy that I'm doing something for myself. I have to have it in my mind that this thing that I'm doing, I'm like, I have to have some type of mark for how it's being received, or somebody has to acknowledge it. And it's really fucking me up, because the validation of that is basically, I'm going for the validation of it. Like, oh yeah, I'm doing this thing, when in actuality, girl, this is not that type of career. Like, so the reason I need to leave the job that I'm at now, because the muscle that I'm developing is to shrink myself, is to silence myself when I really need to listen to myself and be present. But if I'm telling myself, ignore it, just get your money, I'm not really tuning those instruments that I need to be a sustainable artist, like to even be a good artist, like being present. So it's like so many things that I'm like, my brain is actively processing, and my brain is like, bitch, love to just run laps all day, like around thoughts and around thoughts and thoughts. And I turn it off, and sometimes I feel guilty for that, because it's such my skill set, which is another reason like leaving my job has to be a to do for me, because I'm not using my brain there, and I'm not in an environment like that, because it's food and beverage. I don't know if it requires it. I don't know if it's like demeaning to other people when somebody is smart, but me not being in a space where it's like, hey, I know this thing, and I could show up and be proud that I know that thing. Like I can't keep like doing a duality. Also, if I just leave cold turkey, which I know I'm capable of doing, the debt snowball that I'm trying to do in my real life is not going to go down. It's like so much shit is like not going to happen. So this has been my duality for most of my life, doing things that I don't want to do. And I'm conscious enough to know that I could wake up and be myself. I could wake up and go after my own dreams. I can wake up and I can do all of those things. I can wake up and do it. But I haven't been. So it's just like, that's what's really fucking with me. And it fucks with me to the point that I don't like to be still. And this is the bigger thing. Like, I'm not really a worrier, but I don't like being with my own thoughts. Like, I'm going to keep the TV on all night. And it was a bad thing that I developed, but I developed doing that because my neighbors were like loud. And it was like, let me just like pretend I'm not near them. When in all actuality, I end up developing an inability to be one with myself because I'm just like constantly trying to turn myself off, trying to turn myself off. So I say all that to say that's where I'm at right now. And it doesn't feel like a breakdown, but I know it is. I know it's a breakdown and a breakthrough because I'm basically restless. Like I've been running on nothing. I'm not really eating well. When I don't eat well, I'm making like decisions on making a decision for me on an empty stomach is always going to be like a fuck it decision when I know that all of my expenses need to go to exactly what I'm saying. So I'm basically in this space where everything is new. I'm trying to make money in new ways. And it's new, and change has always been hard for me. It doesn't really feel refreshing. It feels scary as hell because all I got is me. And I know every time I have that thought, I think of God like, that's crazy, Lee. You feel like that? But I feel like that. I feel like I would love to have like a hug along the way. And it's just like, I guess fuck a hug, you know? Fuck a hug. I guess that's what life is saying to me. You don't need that. I would like it, but you don't need it. So that's where I'm at right now, just trying to figure it all out. I know very soon it won't be like this, but right now I'm just like, what the hell is going on with everything that's going on in my life? Like, what does this mean? What does that mean? What is this? What is that? Like, it's so much. So that's where I'm at. Just trying to make sure I make the best decision for myself. And super basically afraid. And it's just like a familiar feeling to me. Like I have this book by Iyanla Vanzant. The book is like a module in the book is like go through each emotion and see like what are your triggers or response to this emotion or that emotion. And what I love about that exercise is like I get to be honest with myself for once about my feelings. My feelings, I suppress them, which is not good, especially when you're an artist. I need to be able to allow things to travel through me, for sure. Like, that's the whole vocation of being an artist. So the fact that I'm like, this is happening, but I'm ignoring it, like, that's not good at all. So I have to like step into myself, and this shit is hella scary. And I have to develop a new relationship with myself and the things that I'm saying to myself. Because to have a to-do, I basically don't have a to-do list. I have like a Venn diagram, and I have not been settled enough to make that Venn diagram actionable. So it's just like every new month is like I'm trying to write a list of things to do every month. And sometimes it matches to the previous list or to the previous week. Sometimes. Most of the time, no. But sometimes, yes. So, and that's what I get. Because I really was saying to myself at the beginning of the year, like, oh, I plan everything. I plan everything. Stop planning. Like, live a little. And I lived a little. But like not planning for me is like, it's not great because of that duality that I live. I'm not showing up in first person. I'm showing up in third person for myself, and nobody is like in first person for me. So I'm like really like living with old ideals, and every time I think I shake them, I see them show up again and again and again. And I really want to get to the point where something used to be me, and it's like, no, I used to be that girl. I used to be the person that didn't speak up for myself. But no, this is me, and I'm way more confident with it now. Like, I don't betray myself. That's what I was saying to myself last week. I have a way of betraying myself, and that feels terrible, to not be your own number one fan, to not see your plans through for yourself. But I honestly feel like when I don't keep my word, or when time passes by, it's like I practice the art of betraying myself. It's like, where did I learn that? Like, what stage of my life did I pick up betraying myself? And even if I picked it up at such an early stage, because I didn't have the resources or tools to navigate a particular situation, like, throw that shit away. Like, it's not good for you to not be able to recognize what's best for you. Throw that shit away. So this is just me trying to get to the other side of my shit, but I don't feel good. I have like a therapist that I worked with in the past, and this lady, I had one meeting with her, and it set my reality on fire, because she literally questioned me about things that no one has questioned me about, and it led me to unpacking some horrible truths about myself, some horrible truths that I never tried to face. So I say that to say, when I know I'm going through something, I'm like, oh, I gotta make an appointment. And I will say, God did not bless me with the gift of patience with administrators. So I'll be so upset with her, like, office administrator, where it's like, girl, I'm trying to make an appointment, and what's up? And like, for the most part, I will be honest, I'm not good with administrators. If your job is like a middleman, your job is like between me and the thing I'm trying to do, I have no space to be like, oh, this is so pleasurable. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how many times did I call this place and whatever? So it's just like, I try to remind myself, well, I asked, let me wait for the response. And it's like, this therapist is the only active person of my support system. The only person that I can talk to, and she gonna give me some homework. She gonna basically support me through whatever transition I'm facing. So it's very difficult when I can't get into contact with her. But usually, I will be honest with myself to say I found her 2 years ago, and I was giving myself the goal of working with her consistently. So I said to myself, just tighten up. Like, this is gonna make you better financially, because you're gonna wanna be able to afford her payments. I think at one time they were like $400. She took it down to $300. And it's still like, what? And at the time I was like, and I still do buy fashion shit that's $300. So I was thinking, this is nothing. Like, I could pay my therapist bill. All actuality, I haven't grown to that level of maturity where it's like, I'm gonna put that type of money aside to make sure that I can work with her. And this has been 2 years. Granted, COVID happened during this time, but still, like, I feel like I just need so much help in regards to financial education. But anyway, she's my support system. And before that, or well, after that, I found her, but I also like have a big fan of books. That's why I have this large bookcase over here, because I'm a big fan of like positive thinking and living untethered and all these truths. And it didn't dawn on me, like, my fandom with this shit. These books are not written for people in poverty. So my mindset and my spirit is like light years ahead of me. Because these books are not, hey, you got $2 or you not eating lunch today. These books are written off of ideologies and practices of people who are very much evolved. And unfortunately, like, it doesn't really make the things that I'm learning applicable. It's just like, it's a theory. And I'm knowledgeable of the theory, but I'm not actually doing anything with the theory. I just know about it. Like, I heard that pigs could fly. Like, that's how it is. Like, I heard about it, but it's not really one of those things like, it's not one of those things like, oh, you know that could happen, or you know about that, and you know what I mean? Like, I just find an escapism in those type of ideologies, but I'm not living my life that way. I don't know other people that are living their life that way. So it's just like, I love reading it, and I truly believe in it, but it's like 10 steps away from where I am right now as a person. They're not like relative at all. And I didn't even come to that conclusion by myself. I came to that conclusion from this guy on TikTok. My TikTok used to have like people that were interested in things I was interested in. Like, it had a good algorithm, and I lost the password to it. So fuck, I don't believe I put that much makeup on wrong. Let me use the mirror. So he would just say random things, or you only getting a 2-minute clip. So he would say, those books, they're not written. First he was saying people of color, or more than people of color. They're written by people who I've been a traveling monk since I was 15. Like, they're written in a different perspective. Maybe it's the business of literature in general to present authors as like perfect. Maybe that's what it is. I really don't know, but I do know that it sucks to like not really be able to make those methodologies practical. And I know the only reason that they're not practical is because they're not written for somebody in poverty, which is like what I'm experiencing. I used to have like such a subjective idealism about poverty, because it was like, this is a choice. I'm going to be poor because I'm in college. And I just have learned that it's not good for me to do that. Like, I have the duality that I have, like 2 separate careers. That's not a good duality. But the duality of like actually trying to be profitable, trying to make money, that's a better duality that I need to like bestow upon myself. I need to bestow upon myself the duality of working while educating, as opposed to completely agreeing to the non-for-profit sector of education and then completing a program and not having any ability whatsoever to like to not having any ability to like take care of myself financially. Like, I don't need to go that far with it. Like, I need to just be like, hey, this is cool, but like, I'm in this program, so that's my dream. That's how I see my life. I see myself in grad school, but I see myself with a business. And that was the dream. That was always the dream, to be in grad school, to not equally be destitute. Because when I finished undergrad, the world was going through COVID, so I didn't do any internships or anything like that. But I also wasn't thinking about how to navigate life. It was just like, how do I get off Zoom for 5 hours, of course. So I say all that to say that now I'm like, no, when I go to school, the teachers have to be talking business. They have to be making sense. And I have to fight for my right to do that. I cannot go through another education system and leave it and be like, hey, let me figure out how to do this. Like, no. My previous programs, I learned nothing about the reality of life. It was really like a liberal arts-based education. And while that was cool, you don't really learn how to operate economically when you're around people that are solely, like their sole focus is like that sector. They don't even begin to break down other shit because it's not their reality. You can't even blame people for not being good at something that's not what they do. So fast forward me going to grad school for acting, getting into one of the top schools, because that's what I see is conducive to having a career, especially as a Black person. You have to go to a top program. So it's like, it's no way that I could like live that cycle again. And this has been my dream forever, like to just be one person. Because I actually have always had this duality since I was younger. I know what I want to do, but I don't know how to be stable off of that thing. So, okay, let me go make money doing this. Let me go figure this out. Like, let me do this, and this. And I've always kind of beat around the bush with myself about my life. So it's just like trying. Right now, I'm just like, fuck it. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. And I had to like, I guess, roll the seeds of that, but I know I'm not doing good. Like, I literally cannot see it. And that's not like me, because I know how to take care of myself. Like, I literally know things to do to calm down. I know things to listen to, and I'm just not doing that. I'm thinking about so many ways, so many things. And I think putting my phone down would be helpful, but I wasn't even on my phone last night. I literally, because it was freezing yesterday, I don't have time for that. I literally had my phone on the charger. Matter of fact, my phone died. It wasn't on a charger. It died. And I just was up, like, thinking about all the shit that I gotta do, all the shit I'm trying to take care of, like, literally. And I'm still thinking about it. I need to be typing while I'm on a train, typing my scripts, but my laptop always dies. Nothing new. It's nothing new with that laptop. But yeah. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Thank you for listening to my vent session. It's much appreciated. I don't have any productive spaces to go to say hi. My name is Alicia. And I'm not doing well. So my goal is to get past myself so I stop meeting myself at this uncomfortable space. I want to get to the point where it's like I could choose what's best for me and not still try to grapple and hold on to things that don't. That's the goal. So I made my bed. I don't know if you can. I have to tighten this. And it's like, what the fuck necessary for me to be at my job that early, especially if I'm just to be around some foolishness. So yeah, I'm leaving out. My neck is all the way out, but I have on my balaclava. And I think I might take it a step further and wear my stole. Why not? Because it's fucking cold, man. Take it a step further. So yeah, I'm leaving out. I'll film some throughout the day, but gotta go. So I'm still here, which is good because I'm actually going to eat breakfast for the first time all year when I'm still in the house. So let's do it. I'm going to also take my vitamins. So usually because I go to sleep like the next day, I don't eat breakfast anyway, but I definitely don't. But I told my employer I don't need to be there at the time that they're scheduling me for. So I have like a buffer. So I got a couple minutes to, I actually don't know what time it is. I got like 10 minutes. I still give myself an hour for a commute. I don't even live that far. The train come in 3 minutes, probably 2 minutes. 2 minutes. I was getting sick yesterday. When I was getting sick yesterday when I didn't have my balaclava on. So I definitely got it on today. The brows are roaring, but whatever. I need to get them done. 15, and I'm ready when you're over. Listen up, this is not the ocean. This is the subway, and there should be no serving or riding outside of trains. I'm your medicine my whatever is coming in 1 minute now. What was I saying in the house? Oh yeah, so I was saying this but without the camera, because I feel myself going through something and I'm obviously not resting. The best way I could take care of myself is to be healthy. So I took all my supplements today, although I ran out of my women's one a day and I ran out of my iron, but I still got my ashwagandha, which I'm very grateful for. And I also ate breakfast, which is something I never do. I had oatmeal with peanut butter and oat milk. So my stomach is kind of like, we good right now. So that's something I know I could do. I could take care of myself. Like, I can eat. Because the restlessness is gonna weigh a toll on me. And with me not having a direct relationship with meditation, it's gonna have a whole nother toll on me. So I wanna meditate 1 minute per day, 1 minute more per day. So I actually have a book in the house called How to Meditate that I need to like refresh, because that was really helping me. But my meditation book is I forgot that thing from for BH that I have to I don't have a relationship with my meditation practice. So 1 minute more each day. So today's the 5th 5 minutes, and go through all throughout the month doing that. So I'll do that before my shift. See you at Hudson Yards. You know, my edges, the hat left a mark across my head, but whatever. These lights are so pretty. They look better when I'm filming them. They are beautiful. Moment of silence. We're into Whole Foods and I'm coming back out. It's right across from Hudson Yards, so it's like great location. Great location to make a run to get some food. So I'm just on my way back. I didn't put my hat back on. Really just trying to get back in time. The lights are good, but especially during Christmas season, all of the lights that are hanging up in Hudson Yards is like ideal. Perfect for vlogging. Because I don't have a portable light. So this looks great. I love it. Which reminds me that I need to plot out all of the offices in Hudson Yards that are associated with entertainment so I could drop off my resume and have meetings. I'm hungry. I'm using different softwares to add it. So this is just a mashup of something I made, but trying to shoot and upload the same day. That was it. That was my day. I made it back home. I'm so excited to see my cat. This was me super tired from the train ride. I was so ready to get home.